I do want to preference that this matchup chart is only going to be relevant to Blade's base kit, right? His enhanced effects, his base enhanced effects. Matchup chart is kind of only relevant to Blade and the current meta of today. Obviously, it goes with my experience of playing Blade, so this is very much like my matchup chart for Blade. So don't take this like objectively as this is his struggles, this is the best, this is his worst. It's kind of just like a rough outline of what Blade can do and people that you should and shouldn't be wary of. Obviously, I've only played up to like Cell 3, so Legume with Blade. Hitting GM with Blade on PC. I hit Cell 3 on console, but whatever. And I was ranked 13 Blade this season, and I have like almost 130 hours on the character, so do with that what you will. But I do want to preference that. But yeah, we're not going to be considering any enhanced team ups or really any enhanced team up for any other character. My matchup tier list on them based on both team ups because sometimes they are relevant and that does change, the match. Yeah. So I kind of got like a listed order in here. So this is like a -2 matchup, -1 matchup, even matchup, a +1, +2. So +2, you're basically just gonna run them down. -2 is that like it's almost impossible for you to play. Like you probably have to swap, or it's gonna be extremely difficult. -1 is kind of just like an annoyance. Most characters are gonna be in like this -1 area because it's Blade. Yeah, he does have some pretty good matchups that I do want to preference. So I guess I'll just kind of start down the list. So Adam, I would probably give a +1 matchup. The only reason why I'm not giving a +2 matchup is because he can randomly just hit like crazy headshots on you. And his flying ability can be pretty annoying. But I don't really see like a lot of Adam Warlocks in Cell 3 or above. Usually it's in like triple support, so that's what makes it even more difficult. And overall, he kind of has like that soul bond is really strong. So, I mean, other than that, it just kind of becomes a nuisance. The only times I have faced off against an Adam Warlock is when they're randomly on the other team and I go and fight, like, basically target them because I know I could kill them fast and they'll soul bond, they'll, spray heals and damage, and sometimes they can just kill you, but most of the time you're going to be winning the matchup anyways. So that's the only reason why I'm not putting in a +2. Angela, I would say, is also a +1 matchup because you can kind of shut down Angela. I might even consider putting her in a +2. But you can shut down Angela pretty well. Usually whenever I'm playing against an Angela, I'm always just kind of peeling for her because the moment she goes in for like that dash grab, using, I believe, what is her shift, you basically just do gun dash on her, knock her out, slow her, and knock her to the ground. So she's in like this state of almost confusion where she can't really move or go anywhere. And the moment you calm to your team, hey, Angela down, no dash, look at her behind, you guys can pretty much just like 1v6 kill her real fast. I would even go as far as double dashing on her so she really can't go anywhere if my team really needs it. And you can kind of push up from there. If you have good reaction time or, the audio doesn't stutter in this game because it's, pardon me, because it's not optimized, you can most likely just parry it. You'll still take the damage, but you can just parry it and be fine. Or if she does grab you, you'll most likely have both dashes anyways to be able to get out. So honestly, I consider Angela +1 matchup. I believe she may still be able to beat you in her melee form, just because she kind of gets a lot of overshield from those spikes, and you kind of have to either just leave the area and let her do her thing, or see if she'll chase. So yeah, Black Cat is a -2 matchup almost immediately because you cannot chase the character whatsoever, right? Black Cat just has every ability to leave your vicinity and space at all given times. So, and invisibility just makes it really hard to be able to track. She just has so many different abilities to be able to get away. She has like a dash, she has the iframe thing to leave, but keep you at bay because you can't, like, it's hard for you to walk because you want to block it. Another -2 matchup is Black Panther. You can't really react to Black Panther. You're never 1v1ing this character either. And the times that you're trying to peel, a good BP is just going to be everywhere, all across the friggin' board. Like, in front, behind, left, right, side. Hey, this guy's moving in a triangle at light speed, alright? So you are not catching him. Your dash is way too slow, has way too high a startup time, right? Your bullets don't spray fast enough, ironically. And when they do, it's because, well, the BP's taking a moment to not, or to like jump around or to maneuver in a different way. And you may be able to catch him, but you're definitely not going to be able to hit him. And the moment you do, he just dashes through you anyways, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, BP is a -2 matchup. Widow, I would actually put as a +1 matchup, maybe even +2. She's kind of free eats. Yeah, I give her a +2. Widow, no matter what team up you have, she doesn't have any real way of being able to get away from you. Sure, she's going to be in backline, but she does kind of have that like off angle, off die play style like Hela. So with her being a 250 HP character and both of your dashes doing 70 damage, you know, you can pretty much just kill her really fast, and her CC isn't as strong as it was before the rework. So that's where, if you know she's going to do the kick on you and, you know, bring you in, you can just block it because you're CC immune and honestly just kill her afterwards, especially if you do like a dash mix up or you shotgun her beforehand. I have not had any real trouble with this character besides, well, when they ult and they just 2-tap you, but there's nothing much you can do about that. When it comes down to Cap, it's kind of difficult. I'd probably give him a +1 matchup. Probably just because he has way less HP than before. Most of the time when you're looking at this character, you're trying to slow them with your gun dash. And you can brawl them, you know, better than they can brawl you. It's not anything too crazy where you can't lifesteal or be able to... I just lost my thought. I'm sorry. But Cap isn't that much of an issue, especially when you can peel for him. You have enough pressure where you can push him away. He is only 600 HP, so you kind of just shred him. Especially when you have either team up on your with you, like MK team up, you can just kind of pardon me. You can just kind of keep your distance and, you know, shoot from afar and either have to make him chase you or chase your supports. And if he goes onto your supports, you just dash him and your supports will keep you alive and you should be good. He doesn't do enough damage to be able to solo dive. He's really, really bad this season. But because of his mobility, I wouldn't say he's like totally free eats because he can still get away. He has many, many mobility options to be able to just leave. When it comes to Cloak and Dagger, right now, she's definitely a +1 matchup. The only reason why she's not +2 is because she can infinitely cycle her cooldowns, like between her immunity form, her cloak, and then her bubble. She can just keep on recycling them over and over and over again, making it really hard to kill. But because you're Blade and you just anti-heal, you're pretty much fine. You can just chase them down no matter what and cycle your cooldowns, especially if they were to target you with cloak. You just block it, gain your dashes back, and then you can kill her. It definitely takes time though, and sometimes you're not able to just because it's the perfect cooldown rotation. But with the Hood team up, you know, you being blinded and reduced damage, you just eat so much. You eat so much damage from them. So yeah, that's why I'd probably just keep it as a +1. Cyclops is honestly, a -1 matchup. He's like a 275, 250 HP character, so he's not like anything crazy. He just has high mobility, and because of that, and he's a poke character, Blade struggles against poke. He struggles against most DPS in the game. Just because of that poking playstyle, he is able to just continuously hit you. He has the auto track, he has a shift to be able to get away, he has a C to be able to get high. And it's just really, really hard to track down this character. So even with Moon Knight team up to be able to give you that extra dash, it's still hard for you to gap the distance. And most of the time in a lobby with a whole bunch of people around and their entire team next to them, they can just take that off angle and just get away like nothing. So this character kind of just like freely moves around the map, and it's hard to track. Daredevil. Honestly, I'd probably give Daredevil a -1 matchup. This guy can juke you pretty good. He has a lot of melee weaves. He has a lot of damage as well. So honestly, I'd probably recommend you use Cap Team Up for this matchup, but even still, you might not be able to kill them if you don't have someone there with you. Daredevil is just crazy, and he can grapple you, so even if you were to try and get away, he has damage reduction, he has speed boost, so literally he does everything you do, but better. Deadpool, honestly, for any of the Deadpools, I don't even need all three. Deadpool can be, honestly, probably a +1 matchup. I'm fine going into Deadpool most of the time. Like, I'm never worried about a Deadpool destroying me. He does have that one-shot combo, but I don't know if they patched it, or I just don't ever see it because I've never been one-shotted by a Deadpool before like that. And most of the time, they're not mechanically skilled enough to do it because it's just like, it's almost a waste of time. You can get value with him in like many, many other ways. So because of that, I feel perfectly fine being able to go against him. You know, if I see him on the enemy team, I'm almost kind of happy because he's someone that I can just gain stacks off at the front, or even if he's in the back, I think he's a free support because of how big-bodied he is. And his healing doesn't, his self-healing isn't that great either. So in that case, you know, support Deadpool is just free eats. Dino is a +1 matchup. It's really hard to tell where he's going to like bite and grab you and maneuver you anywhere else, but unfortunately you can't really do anything of it. You can't react to it. It's just almost impossible. You have to be very lucky to be able to get it. It's just a timing thing. So unless you actually like memorize their timing on how they interact with your character, then maybe. But other than that, basically, you do a lot of headshot damage to him because he has a big fucking head. So because of that, you just shotgun him down far away. Even if you were to break the shield, it doesn't really matter. He's just eating a lot of damage. You can out heal his bleed damage, I'm pretty sure. I haven't heard anything that you haven't been able to since the last patch. I do know that percent damage did get buffed. So maybe, but honestly, Dino isn't really that good this season because of poke, so I rarely see him, and when I do, he just kind of gets shredded. Going on to Doctor Strange is also a +1 matchup. Most tanks and supports are going to be +1, +2 matchups. The only reason why I have Strange and +1 is because unless you parry his E, it's kind of a skill check. It's not exactly free eats, because unless you're able to parry his E, his Maelstrom, and especially if he has that Invis team up, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. I'm talking like maybe 175, 180, possibly even 200, something like that. And he just gets it so fast. You can kind of tell based on his cape, but because of the strong visual color that's in this game, it's really hard to see like minute details to show off that skill expression. Because, well, you can't see anything that's happening. Sometimes where I'm looking at my screen and I'm like, it's just colors, and I'm holding right click or left click. And praying. But if you're able to parry or block the Maelstrom at the right time where he releases it, you're only going to be taking like 40% of the damage, maybe max, and that's if he does a full 200. You can parry his ult very frequently. He doesn't really have a way of, avoiding you. The shield isn't good because you can just melee into him, and he doesn't have enough damage to be able to make him a threat besides his Maelstrom. So in that case, Strange is just free. Elsa, honestly, probably a -1 matchup. She just has high mobility. You can't really get away from her. And not only that, you can't catch up to her either. She kind of sits in the back line waiting for her opportunity. She very much just likes to do that like one-shot combo off angle into like a crazy one-shot support. Her traps make it really just annoying to have to deal with. How do I sound comparatively to the music? It's not fine. I want to check that. But yeah, Elsa kind of just can roll you down, and because of her percent damage on her elephant gun, you being a 350 HP target, she's doing a lot of damage to you, and it's just really fast. It's within a second. And the longer she stays on the battlefield, the stronger she gets. So that's her other thing. Her ult's really strong, right? Most of the time you can't parry it because you have to parry it front and back, and she might recall it on you, which will count as 2 separate grabs. So yeah. When it comes down to Emma, oof, do I want to call it even, or do I want to call it a +1? Okay, cool. I did just turn it down, and I kind of sat up closer to my mic, so yeah, I don't know where I want to put Emma, but let's kind of break it down. Emma has the shield, which you kind of don't really care about because you can just dash in and out. And then she also has Diamond Form, but Diamond Form you can block for most of the time. She kind of does good damage with her beam, but honestly, I would give Emma like a +1 matchup, because anytime I see an Emma, I know it's a skill check, but I know I can get through it, so it's fine for me. But it can be a little difficult for others if you don't really know what to be looking out for. But yeah, Emma you can just kind of farm on, especially with that anti-heal. You can just put it on her very frequently. And since she's going to be a tank, she's going to want to be up in the front in almost like a 15-meter area, which is like your prime hit zone for her to be able to go Diamond Form grab, either to leave or to get you. And that grab is very, very generous, so she can definitely just one-shot you. But if you can block kick, which you can, especially if you're looking at her, you'll only take like a certain amount of the damage. Just kind of play it slow with the Diamond Form and you're fine. Like, that's where I usually just go back to shotgun, because you can play that battle between melee and ranged, especially with the shotgun. So you just kind of always make sure you're in the opposite form of what Emma's in to be able to do the max damage, and you live. Most of the time you live. Gambit is actually, honestly, I would say Gambit's a -1 matchup, right? And I know that may be very controversial, but Gambit is still best in role right now, right? For supports, he's just so broken, all right? And he has 2 very, very long dashes. I think they're like 15-meter dashes that also heal him and heal other people around him. So he goes far. He goes far very fast. So it's really hard for Blade to be able to catch up to him, right? And if you do anti-heal him, you kind of just... Well, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, because he's always just going to cleanse himself with the dashes, I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure all on his kit. He's mostly banned in all of my games, but anytime I go against him, it's very, very annoying. He just has too high mobility, right? His healing's pretty good. And so is his damage. His damage is actually very surprising. There have been times where I've actually died to a Gambit just because it's been hard to catch up to him, and he's constantly just firing with damage boost. And then he can also apply anti-heal on you, so your melee form doesn't mean much. I will say Shotgun kind of does just murk him because he is a 250 HP character. But yeah, it's just because of the dashes and the healing. It's just hard to catch up to him, and he can really just spread that distance from you within an instant and be healed up from his team. So I actually struggle against Gambits. Yeah, for Groot, I would probably give a +1 matchup. Big body target, right? You can farm stacks off his walls. So if you go in from behind or something, it's, if he has like big wall over there, you can just kind of farm big wall and then go in. I will say Blade doesn't do that much environmental damage, so he doesn't do a lot of damage towards Groot, Groot's walls. But he does, being able to anti-heal Groot and then constantly just be up in his face. It's a lot of pressure, especially since he doesn't really have a way of killing you besides boxing you. But with that Moon Knight team up, you kind of just outlive it. You have another dash to be able to leave. Yeah, overall, it's not that bad of a matchup. I enjoy playing into it. I kind of put it on like the skill level of Emma, maybe a little bit better. So I might consider even moving him down to an even matchup, but for now, I'll just keep him like +1. And I'll probably order these later. For Hawkeye, I will say Hawkeye's a -1 matchup. He doesn't have the greatest mobility to be able to get away, but he just does so much damage with 1 Psylocke team up and then 2 his headshots. He's not in like the greatest place right now, but he's just kind of annoying to deal with because of how much damage he does. Like within 1 shot, I'm already half HP, and knowing I'm half HP, I'm a big body target. Yeah, I'm getting obliterated. Hela I'd actually put in an even matchup. I don't mind playing against Hela. It's very much a big skill check because it's dependent if 1, you can aim, and 2, you know how to position yourself. Right? Not only that, but you also have to read the environment. And what I mean by that is the battle itself. Like, there's one time where Hela took an off angle, which most Helas are going to be doing, right? And with Blade's Moon Knight team up, I feel very comfortable being able to take that off angle challenge and potentially even kill her. She's 250 HP character, right? Sure, she gets 25 HP off Bird, but because of your Moon Knight team up, you can, 1, gap the distance that she creates with Bird, and then you run faster than her in vamp form. So if you use Moon Knight team up, you're going to gap that distance and then move faster than her while hitting her. So as long as you can hit Moon Knight team up, you're going to be doing like over 160 damage. And that's just base hitting all 4 shots. Right? And if you do a 70 damage dash on her, and I'm not even talking like gun dash, melee weave, this is just sword dash. That's already 200 and like what, 210? 230? 230? So now she has 1 shot. But if she has 25, 45, just hit her once, tap her, and she's dead. Like, most of the time, I don't mind going into a Hela anymore. Hulk. This is interesting. I'd probably give Hulk an even matchup. I don't see much Hulks just because Hulk is, well, he's Hulk. He's never been exactly the greatest, but he does get ult pretty fast. I find myself kind of struggling to engage on him because when I do with dash to gain stacks to go backline, usually he will just bubble himself or leave. He can just straight up leave the situation. He kind of has better mobility than Blades, and with Wolverine team up, he kind of becomes unstoppable. So in that case, it's just hard to be able to, 1, consistently damage him, but also use like your usual gameplay loop. He falls out of that by having to constantly just poke with shotgun. And he's very much will go on your support, so having to peel for him is very annoying, especially since he will, exile? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the word. He'll exile you, which is like his hard CC, and you can't be touched at all, so you're just kind of stuck there watching, and it lasts for surprisingly a long time. But because he does just frontline, or when he walks, you can use shotgun to do a lot of damage. It just kind of becomes an even matchup. It's very much a big skill check for Blade because has a very hard time killing him because he can just lead the scenario at any given time. Torch, I would even put probably as a -1. It is really hard for me to kill Torch because he can fly so high up, and then he has double dashes with speed boost on top of it. I know, insane. So this guy just has constant uptime that I can't keep up with, and he's able to really like close the distance on me and then leave almost immediately. And my shotgun just, it's hard for me to track, especially since he does like that melee weave sort of thing. And he can just leave with dive. So honestly, like Torch is very, very hard for Blade to work into. Probably the hardest on this tier. I'm not gonna lie. I might even consider putting him in a -2 matchup just because of that. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I'll put him as a -2. He's just so hard to hit. And he's a very thin body, so if he creates like that, you know, that big enough distance, your shotgun's not doing enough damage, you can't hit him, right? And he just has so many dashes that you can't really get away. Or that he can get away, but you may not. Alright, going on to Invis. Invis is, honestly, I'm gonna put Invis as a +2 matchup. I used to be very annoyed with this character because they would constantly just be able to like push you away, or pull you if you ever tried to leave, if they had team next to them. And their shield was just so busted that it was so hard to like kill them through. And they just lived long enough. But because of Moon Knight dash, right, you can really close the distance when they jump away, or be able to do enough damage when they're next to other people, which most of the time they're next to another healer, next to a DPS, you know, they're next to someone else. So you use Moon Knight team up on the person next to them, or literally just on them, you're doing a lot of damage to them instantaneously. And then you dash on them and you mainly just kill them. Like they're 250, 275 HP. But because of Invis's like heal bot playstyle, unfortunately, like that's just it's the best way to say it. Like she mainly just stays in back. She doesn't really have any like strong plays like Gambit or anything like that. Because Gambit will straight up like try and fight me, which a healer usually doesn't ever do. Blade just kind of has free eats on them. Going on to Iron Fist. Now this is a little difficult. I might put him as a +1 or an even matchup. It's very, very dependent on the scenario. Alright, let's think about this. Iron Fist has block, kick. I play Iron Fist, so like I'm not exactly terrified of this character when I see them. And I don't necessarily have to... Yeah, honestly, I probably put him in a +1 matchup. Basically, with Iron Fist, you're never engaging on them unless he's on your supports. But by then, he's already either taken enough damage, right? Has exerted too many resources that you can just kill him or make him have to peel. But if he literally tries to like 1v1 you, because you guys are like kind of the 1v1 character, as long as you block kick or uppercut, you're kind of fine, and you can just block that entire interaction. You don't hit him for his block, and you're pretty much good. Especially with Moon Knight team up, you can just kind of continuously roll them down, and even mix them up or catch up to them because they do have the dash, or the jumps. They have triple jumps to be able to get out. Yeah, honestly, I give Iron Fist a +1 matchup. Iron Man is... Yeah. Iron Man's just kind of free eats for Blade. I know that may sound ironic because Iron Man's a flying character, but he's just a big body. He's pretty slow. His beam can be doing a lot of damage, but most of the time, because their beam has to be within 15 to 20 meters. That's like your sweet spot for Blade's kit with between shotgun and dash. You can really just shotgun, dash, melee, weave, kill them. Even Moon Knight team up dash. Shotgun itself just does so much damage onto Iron Man. So in that case, he's pretty free. For Jeff, I'd honestly give him +1 matchup. You can very much just one-shot a Jeff. That's what I look to do because his survivability is good after he burrows in the ground. Once he burrows in the ground, you can't really kill the character just because most of the time you have the entire team looking at you when doing so. But because Jeff just stays behind the entire team most of the time, he only walks when he has Venom team up, if he does, you can very much just kind of like throw your kit at him and leave. Especially with Moon Knight team up. Like, Moon Knight team up just solves a lot of matchups for Blade, making him be able to just catch up to anyone. And firing those off first really just does a chunk of damage to Jeff. I mean, it's 160 if you hit every shot, with there being 4 shots. He's such a big body that shotgun just kind of melts him. But once he gets into the ground, it's really hard for Blade to hit him. Because at that point, you just kind of do tick damage. Going on to Loki. I probably put Loki as an even matchup. Loki's a more difficult support to kill because he has lamps and he can just kind of get away at all given times. It is easier with Moon Knight team up, but because he has he can either copy into you and lifesteal from you if he knows what he's doing. You already exerted enough resources where you just kind of lose. Moon Knight team up does make it better because he usually stands next to his clones or other people, so you do that. But because of his teleport, he can travel distances pretty fast. Lamps do really just hurt. Like, what it is in this matchup is lamps. Because once he puts down lamps, you can't lifesteal anymore. Because you're technically not doing any damage. Luna is a +1 matchup. Easy. Really easy. Once you block... If you block... what is it? Ice Ball? Frozen Ball? Whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Freeze. Yeah, we just call it Freeze. Once you block Luna Freeze, it's usually fine. At that point, you've already done enough damage. And it gets super predictable as you start playing. And most of the time they aren't ready for it. They start doing clap. Now it already takes animation and they're dead. There's another healer. Moon Knight team up usually just kind of saves you. You do enough damage where you can just kind of anti-healer to death because she can't heal enough and you just out-damage her. Yeah. For Magic is... With the new team up, especially seeing her being played now, it's probably an even matchup. Yeah. Because before, I would just block her initial, dash towards me, and then that entire interaction of dash, swing, melee weave, into, something else, you just exerted most of her materials, and especially her high damaging materials, into an 80% damage reduction block. And then you just kill her, right? You just out lifesteal her damage, and you're able to track her down pretty easily. But because of her new, quote-unquote domain thing, with Hood Enhanced team up, I will consider that because the Hood is very, very popular right now. He's being played almost in every single match that I play. Magic has just been ever more prevalent. Ever more prevalent. But just because I'm only considering her enhanced team up because I'm playing against it every single match, so it's just one I know. The regular team up isn't too bad, especially since you can just kind of leave the area, honestly, because of that. because I said I'm not considering enhanced team ups, I'll just put it in a +1. But I'll put it in like no. Wait. Oh, thank God. I was like, what just happened? Because of that, I'll put her in like a +1 over here. Mag, +2 matchup. Low +2 matchup. Only because here. Here, can I put this down? Oh. There we are. I can put this up. Oh my gosh, I like this so much more. Right, now I'm gonna put this down. Put this down. Cool. Oh my gosh, this is so much better. So yeah. Oh, I very much like this layout already. This looks so much better. So this is going to be going from best to worst in roll for each tier. So like Widow is the best +2, while Cat's the worst +2, in my opinion. I actually think the +2 matchup or -2 matchups already the most accurate. I'll put this here. I'll put this here. I'm just gonna organize it now. Actually, I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna put this higher up over here. Actually, Adam, because Adam might even be considered as a like good +2. Yeah, Maelstrom. This is a bigger skill check. I'll put Deadpool over that. Do I put Cap over Deadpool? Nah. Just because of Cap's mobility. But yeah, so reason why I put Magneto as a low +2 matchup is because his base team up of Scarlet Witch team up can destroy you, but if you play in between of when he has it, he's just free eats. The only thing you really have to worry about is his bubble and his push. But other than that, you kind of just disengage and shoot, and then go back on him when he shields again. I love going against this character. He is like best in roll right now. Because of it, and because the Hood's played so frequently, he's literally better now. So I love going against Mags. And especially that they have Emma team up, I'm always using Moon Knight team up in this matchup, right? You just kind of shred him. You're able to use him as this giant onk, if you want to put it that way, in terms of Moon Knight kit. So yeah. Try to put this here, put this here. Like I could even consider this a +1. I put Daredevil here. Elsa maybe here. Gambit here. Okay, I like that. Best of one. Okay. Wow, I just actually messed that up. Hold on. I'm going to do this. 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 There we go. And then this. Alright. So Cyclops could even be considered, up here. Alright, Mantis, +2 matchup. Easy ass character. You destroy this character. There's no way, shape, or form a Blade should be losing to Mantis. I would even put her, better to kill than Invis, because Invis would. Leslie's doing great. Leslie's doing wonderful right now. She's actually taking a nap, so I'm trying to be, down low. I'm just trying to be quiet. That's all. Yeah, Mantis, you don't ever really lose to Mantis. Like, you just parry sleep and you're fine. She doesn't do enough damage to kill you. Your life steal is better. She's like 275, but you just obliterate her. I'd actually probably even put her up here. Like, I love going into a Mantis. Mr. Fent. What do I want to put this? It's +1. You kind of don't really lose to him, but you just don't. Honestly, I'd probably put it as an even match. Maybe towards +1. Just because you don't really lose. Actually, I'll probably put him here. You don't lose to Fent, but you don't win against Fent because he just leaves. He leaves the area or he just lives for so long. And it just doesn't even matter. And it's just annoying at that point. Moon Knight is a +2 matchup. Yeah. Moon Knight you just kind of destroy. I'm just like thinking about my choice and my order. But Moon Knight you just destroy. Like, his damage is destroyed comparatively to what it was before. So you don't really like struggle against this character at all. He's a bigger bodied character just like Blade, so you shotgun him, you do a lot of damage. He's still 250 HP character, 275, something like that. But he doesn't have the ability to leave from you, especially if you have Moon Knight team up. So in that case, it's just easy. Namor. Probably just as bad as Hala. Honestly, even matchup, I'm just going to leave as is because all of it I consider like difficulties in different ways. Yeah, Namor, it's just annoying. Hubble, you can't interact with. Squids and Gamma Squids are just on constant uptime. His headshot damage is insane. And he has a very, 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 big trident. And it doesn't look big, but it's massive. Okay? That's all I gotta say. This thing will whiff past my ear and count as a headshot. So in that case, yeah, it just becomes very annoying. Especially if it has squids like beaming you. It is not fun. Still playable, but it's not fun. Might I even put him in Neg 1? Honestly, yeah, I would. Yeah, maybe, no, definitely not Neg 2, because you can just Moon Knight team up on the squids, but it's still just like, this character is hard to play into because he's just so strong in poke. Penny. Oof. Penny is rough because of the nests. I'm sure you can break it. And yes, she did get like the nerf buff thing on her webs. But overall, it's just annoying to play into her. Like straight up. I'd probably put her around like, yeah, I prefer a Penny than a Hawkeye, to be honest. But definitely not a Gambit. Wait, if I'm doing this from best to worst, I think... Yeah, no. Definitely be a Cyclops, a Hawkeye, and then a Penny. And then definitely an Elsa over that, and then a Gambit, and more. Probably a Gambit over Namor. Because, yeah, I don't really mind playing it into a Gambit. Or, what am I talking about? Of course I mind playing into a Gambit. I don't mind playing into Namor. Probably not as bad as Elsa, though. Right here. So yeah, this is probably where I put him. Phoenix. Phoenix. Yeah, I hate this character. This character sucks. Anti-heal, big poke, big damage. I play Phoenix a little bit. Phoenix just destroys you, okay? And you're a big body target, right? And she gets healing based off of it. Dash thing's annoying, but just because of the sparks and how she can heal, uh, you just kind of lose from the explosion. Phoenix is so strong this season. Honestly, I'd probably say a Hawkeye over friggin' Cyclops. Yeah, that's probably where I put it. Cyclops is just so annoying comparatively. Like, I just lose to a lot of the DPS. Psylocke. Probably put it as an even matchup. For whatever reasons, every time I've gone against a Psylocke, I headshot them for almost all of their HP. I want to say like 3/4 of it. And then I gun dash, and they're dead. And most of the time they may leave the area, but because they usually use Emma team up, I will Moon Knight dash onto them and just kind of kill the team up almost instantaneously if they're nearby it, which they're not. Yeah. You just kind of create a lot of range comparatively to this character. The damage fall off on them really hurt them, so it doesn't really destroy Blade too much. And you keep your distance and you're fine. The moment you go in, you lose. So I put her at the bottom of 0, maybe even 1. I probably even... Do I care to play a Hela over... Oh, of course not. Punny. Oof. Again. Punny is a terrible matchup for Blade. I probably even put him at 2. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, Punny definitely will be a -2. Because no matter what team up you got, this guy just does so much damage, especially with infinite ammo. It is insane. He just bursts you down. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Even if you block it, you'll gain your dashes back, then you go in, pulls out shotgun, and he 2-taps you, 1-taps you. Right, you can't play... Usually, I would say, like, play this into this, play this into this. Punny just... It's so hard to play into Punny. Just because he does so much damage, and there's no real way for you to interact with him. Unless you, like, surprisingly take the off angle, do, like, half his health with a shotgun shot to the head. At, like, the perfect, distance from him, which he's moving around. And the moment he sees you is the moment you die. So, yeah. Plus, he can see across walls, so he knows when you're coming. Rocket? I would probably say Rocket. It's dependent on the map. Probably high +1. Only because his movement can be a little difficult to track. Yeah, but you do have shotgun. Yeah, I'd probably put +2. Rocket's usually not that bad to go into. Alright, Rogue is going to be another -1 or -2. You just straight up lose against this character because the moment they grab you, the moment you're dead. Right? Animation of you getting up takes forever. Their entire team's shooting at you on the ground. And it's impossible to react to the block. And you leaving, well, now Rogue, because she grabs you, now has lifesteal on her, and she has better damage because you're a DPS. So, and your damage is lowered, so therefore you just lose. You lose the lifesteal off, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to leave. So this character shuts you down real hard. Wanda, I'd probably put as a +1. Because she can be healed in her dash, it's hard for you to interact, but You do out lifesteal her damage, so it's not that bad. Right. If you hit like a headshot on her because she's going to be within the vicinity of where you are, you do like a lot of damage. So she's very easy to track. She's not that good. Spider-Man, I'd probably put like low +1. Maybe even, but honestly, I've never had too many troubles against Spider-Man besides he just on my backline. I don't really interact with this character too much just because, well, they're on my backline. If I go to Peel, I usually just find them in like some random area. I can hit them with like a shotgun shot, usually out of my range, but if we're in a building, he just dies. Because I'll tap him, dash, tap him again with shotgun, dash again, and he's dead. There's nothing you can do about it. And he's just kind of perma CC'd stun. Squirrel Girl is a +2 matchup. This character is extremely easy to play into. I would even probably put her above Rocket. Like, character is very, very good. Alright, Star-Lord is a -1 matchup. Honestly, not the worst, because you do have good lifesteal. But iframes, dash, it's like the iframe. I mean, yeah, they are like dashes. They're flips. He does like flips, and then he has really, really, really fast boosters that he can just kind of get away, which is his shift. Or is he? I don't know. I have not played Star-Lord on PC. But because he has like a 40 bullet mag, he just kind of sprays you down, and you either eat it and he gets away and gets another 40 instantaneously, or you leave. So it's just hard for you to interact with the character. Not impossible, but it's hard. Storm is a +2 matchup. You should not be losing this character. She is skinnier, so it's kind of harder to hit, especially if she's above everyone or like in the middle of everyone. But usually you don't struggle against this character. She does kind of good damage, but I don't know. With any of the other flyers, she's slow, so you can kind of track her, shotgun her, do body shots, 3 or 4 body shots, and she's dead. Alright, Thingaling. Thingaling is probably an even matchup. I do like playing... I'd probably put him towards... probably right next to the Hulk. I do play Cap Team Up into Thing. It's just that he does a lot of damage with his Human Torch Team Up, which just does crazy % damage. He's always getting Overshield. Earthbound is just annoying to deal with because now you don't have dashes and you just have to leave a block. And he can just jump towards you. He can kind of close the gap, especially if he jumps towards you as you're leaving. He's just going to cover the complete full distance, and there's nothing you can do about it. He wants to be all up in your face, and it's really hard to gain stacks because when he's up front, he's always has things slammed down, so you can't really engage on him, and then he'll leave afterwards and reset. So that's kind of his like gameplay loop. Thor, same thing, even matchup. Maybe even a -1. See, there's not too many Thors. I can't talk correctly. There's not too many Thors that I play into, and anytime I do fight him, he's just kind of always on my supports. I don't really interact with him. I'll farm dashes off of him, which is fine, and then I can just take back and shotgun him, and then kind of kill him. With them fixing shotgun and also having Moon Knight team up, it made this matchup much better because Moon Knight team up, you can just have lifesteal in vamp form while having like a long range attack, especially since, like I said, you hit every shot 160, and that's just on a single target. It does bounce, so you kind of get like a lot of healing back. And shotgun is more consistent now, so it's easier to hit him. The only thing is that he can kind of put you around. You can't really do too much of it, but if you just kind of fight him the entire time, you should be alright. But there are times where he does skill gap you. Ultron. Ultron is extremely annoying. Probably put him like here. But he is a +1 matchup. He doesn't really have any self-healing, right? He can kind of do a lot of damage sporadically. But if you just use shotgun, you should be fine. Same thing is almost the same thing with Iron Man, except he can get overshield pretty fast, and he has a dash to be able to get away. So that's where he differs. And he can get like 125 overshield almost instantaneously, which is like basically half a health bar. And that's where Blade kind of struggles, because by the time he has that overshield, his healers are looking at him, and he's always playing with his healers. You can't engage on really anyone else besides Ultron while Ultron's there, so that's where he becomes the nuisance. But yeah, he's still a bigger body target. He's still 250 HP character, and he doesn't have the most insane movement, so that's where you just kind of close the gap with shotgun. Venom. Venom I would put as a +1 matchup. Definitely worse than Cap, worse than Magic, worse than Iron Fist, worse than Emma, worse than Spidey? Nah. Probably here. Closer towards like an even matchup. It's just because like Venom's never like fighting you. You're always fighting the Venom. He has like a lot of HP, but you can disrupt him with Gun Dash. Moon Knight Team Up does a lot of damage, right? Gun does a lot of damage to him, so that's where you just kind of shred him. You can slow him. But yeah, he is usually just always on your supports, never on you. So in this case, he does become very nuanced in that way when you are interacting with him, because you're not doing anything. And you don't have the ability to be able to push him away from your supports, so that's where you just kind of have to sit there and swing. And you don't really care about any of the other team-ups. So that's why I keep him as a +1, but it's like a low +1. White Fox is honestly pretty bad right now, but she's honestly annoying. I'd probably give her a +1 matchup. Yeah, probably close to Wanda. It's just because she can like push you around very easily. She has like the healing thing, which does out heal your lifesteal. Not lifesteal. Out heal your anti heal. Right? I know that sounds weird, but your anti heal will only do like a percentage of the character's overall healing, and White Fox just has such insane healing in melee form that it doesn't matter. But I do enjoy going into White Fox, but also TP is very strong. Moon Knight Team Up just kind of eats ass in the TP because of the shield, and it doesn't bounce around for whatever reason. It's very, very weird. It's like the shield just eats the entire ability itself. So that's where you have to kind of play smart. But other than that, you still just can swing on this character and be fine. Just have insane mobility, and they're very anti-dive. Bucky is probably closer towards like a -1 matchup. Not as bad as Gambit. I hate Gambit. Probably around here. Gambit is just like, he's the one support that can make it work. You know, it's just so hard. You always want to be on supports. But Bucky kind of just does whatever he wants you to do. You can block his hook, so you don't have to get like grabbed, and it's a very loud sound effect, so you know you can have block up instantaneously, and it's a frame 1 block, so you're fine. Bucky also just kind of, he has insane damage for head tap. He has constant overshield whether he hits something or not. So even if he misses, right, with his abilities, he's still going to get the overshield, and that's where it becomes extremely annoying. And then whenever he is shooting, his pistol does like this weird burst, like spray damage. It's so like obnoxious, and it bypasses your block, so you can't block his shots. And I've noticed this, like I'll just randomly get head tapped, even though I'm still blocking and I can't get head tap from the front. So it's so weird. It's disjointed. It just kind of counters Blade's kit because he can't get in, and that uppercut just does a lot of damage. He still has that one shot. Um, so yeah, and then he can also uppercut your ult, and just even though you're CC immune, you can't go anywhere. And a good Bucky knows that he can just do that and shut you down. So that's where I kind of put him at like closer towards a -1 matchup. Wolf. I love brawling into a wolf. Anytime I see wolf, I probably put him at like a high +1 matchup. Right, you out heal his damage. He does percent damage, right? If he grabs you, you can kind of just leave because he's just constantly looking at you. He doesn't have another regrab. In that case, you do kind of just die if he grabs you into your team fully, but he's never looking at you. He's always looking at a tank. You can 1v1 him in most areas because he's going to be looking for like a flank to bring people in. And if you're good enough, you could block grab. Wolves kind of make it obvious. They kind of don't. Yeah, honestly, maybe just because of grab, I'll put him over here underneath Angela because I still have been grabbed by Wolverines before, and it's been very troublesome. In that case, I just have to play slow, but even so, it's just annoying. Yeah, and then because Wolf has no way of, well, he has no range. If you see him coming towards you, he's a big body short target. So you just headshot him, and he's like passives out already. But he does have like strong survivability because of his damage reduction. So that's where like the matchup kind of isn't like completely a +2. Plus, he grabs you, and grab is just busted. Any sort of displacement's just really, really strong. Jubilee. Okay. Probably better than Luna. I do like fighting into Jubilee. Most of the time they can't get away. But being able to blind while also being able to, what is it? Oh, she has like a speed boost to herself, speed and jump boost. So because of that, she can just kind of leave your range without you being able to really do anything. Sure, you can Moon Knight team up to get away, but she's faster than you base speed. So, and it's just hard for you to get away, or not to get away, to catch up. It's hard for you to catch up. And then she also just has strong damage with her like burst form. But most of the time I don't really care about that because I'm able to just be on her, and by the time she gets to like that burst form, she's most likely dead already. And Moon Knight Teemo still does a lot of damage. She's most likely still going to be next to another support, and anti-healing her means that she can't heal. She's still 250 HP character, I believe. Maybe 275, but still it doesn't matter. Hood. I also give Hood as like a +1 matchup. Yeah, probably better than Wanda. I put him as a low +1 matchup just because he does have that like cloak getaway sort of thing, and he goes higher up in the air. When he goes into like his machine gun form, he does do a lot of damage, especially because he's probably going to be enabling a cloak and dagger, which will damage boost, and that will do a lot of damage. He has a shield, which kind of just mitigates your Moon Knight team up, unfortunately. But you are never just straight up destroying this character. You're doing a lot of damage for sure, but he does have abilities on being able to get away between Scarlet Witch team up, which will have like an iframe TP like White Fox, or the machine gun form, which he is constantly always looking out for. And it's really hard for you to challenge ult as well. So in that case, those are areas that Blade struggles, but not in a complete shutdown sort of way. He has more positives than negatives. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this is the tier list. Hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Later.